So, will the Steelers ever fire Matt Canada? To me, the answer is no. His contract runs up at the end of the season. They're just going to choose not to extend him. And that's just kind of what the Steelers do. They don't fire people for some stupid-ass reason. But I figured, let's take a look at their offensive coordinators and figure out who's the best that maybe the Steelers fans didn't treat well enough or took, for granted. So, it's hard because you got Tom Moore starting in 1983 to 1989. He went 54-57, 2-3 in the playoffs. So he won 48.6% of his games. Joe Walton, and that's odd giving an offensive coordinator a win or a loss, because if he only scores 10 but the defense allowed 3, okay, that's a win. But if he scored 50 and the defense allowed 55, then it's a loss. So I prefer more of a points per game or yards per game, something. Time of possession, something else besides wins. Joe Walton. He didn't last very long. He went 16-16. So that's 2 years as a OC. Whereas Tom looks like he was, 7 years if you count 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88. Yeah, 7 years. Then you have John Earhart. I would say it's probably how it's pronounced. He went 43-21. That's actually kind of good. 67%. 3-4 in the playoffs. Not terrible. Chan Gailey went 21-11. Still pretty good. And they went 2-2 in the playoffs. Ray Sherman, just in 1998. See, 98, that Cowher was the coach back then. 7-9 as a record. 43.8%. And freaking Bill Cowher said, "Get out of my face." Wow. Cowher was not messing around with that guy. Kevin Gilbride, from 99 to 2000, 15-17, and only 46.9% wins, and 0-0 in the playoffs again. And he got canned, probably. Mike Mularkey, heck of a name, by the way. 2001 to 2003, 29-18-1. That's a nice record, actually. 61.5%, not as good as Chan or Ron, but still pretty good, and 2-2 in the playoffs. I know Mularkey, he ended up being a head coach somewhere. That I remember. I don't remember where or if it was multiple spots, but that'd be my guess is, hey, the offense is doing good. Let's snatch him up. Ken Wisenhunt, 2004 to 2006. He is 34, 14-0 for an over 70% wins. Oh my God. And that's the end of the Cowher area just as Ben got there. Mind you, so this is young Ben Roethlisberger. 5-1 in the playoffs. Now, I know Ken ended up getting a head coaching job, and I think it was actually in Arizona where the Steelers faced them in Super Bowl 43. I think he's the head coach for that. Bruce Arians from 2007 to 2011, 55, 25-0, 68.8%, 5-3 in the playoffs. So, I mean, come on. Like, Ken Wisenhunt and Bruce Arians. That right there was kind of peak right now, as far as I see it. Todd Haley from 2012 to 2017. So, Todd Haley. Now, I became a Steelers fan when Bruce Arians was the OC. Actually, I don't really remember him too good. Because I was still only like 11 or 12 years old. Let me think. 2000. Okay, I was 11 years old when I became a fan. Because the Super Bowl technically took place in 2009, being the 2008 season, so I was 11 when I became a Steelers fan. So, God, I've been a Steelers fan for 15 years. So I don't remember Bruce too well, but I definitely remember Todd Haley. From 2012 to 2017, 61, 35 and 0, 63.5%, 3 and 4 in the playoffs. So Todd actually wasn't that bad, and I know that fans nowadays, they want to, they're like, we just did not know what we had in Todd Haley with the offensive coordinators that followed. I'm sure everyone would be glad to take Todd Haley now. And he's actually doing sports radio, I believe, if I remember correctly from something Stephen A. Smith said. I don't know if the Steelers were to fire Matt Canada after week 3, would he come in and do it for, 3/4 of a season, please? Randy. Oh, Randy. Randy was another one where it's like, the hell is going on? And I would take Randy over Matt right now. I would. I would take Randy right now over Matt Canada. So Randy was from 2018 to 2020, a 29-18-1 record, 61.5%, 0-1 in the playoffs. Randy, if I remember correctly, he was a good quarterback coach. That's about it. Because when he got promoted after Todd, he was OC and quarterback coach. And then it was like, he can't do both. He has to be one or the other. Then they brought Matt Canada in to be the quarterback coach. And then that's when, after Randy was not fired, just chosen not to be extended, they brought in Matt. And it's like, oh, God, can we go back to Randy? So Matt Canada, from 2021 to the present, 2023, has a 19-16-1 record. It's 54.2%, 0-1 in the playoffs. I don't know if this counts like week 2's games. I'm unsure of that. It could not. Let me think. So what's 19 and 17 is 36. So 36. Yeah, that counts because 17. So 17 in 2021, 17 games in 2022, and then the 2 games so far. So this is including the loss to the 49ers and the win versus the Browns. So he is 19-16-1. It's like, oh, what's the problem? He wins like 54% of his games. He's an idiot is the problem. Like, if the Steelers had a good offensive coordinator in my mind, and this, like I'm saying, my mind, maybe I'm completely wrong here, but if they had a good offensive coordinator who knew how to coach Kenny and knew how to call plays, if the offense was good, like if the offense could put up, let's call it about 25 points a game, just the offense putting up 25 a game, I feel like the Steelers would be Super Bowl contenders with how good that defense is. Because at that point, the Steelers are keeping drives alive. Fun fact, in the 36 games, I should have known that. Okay, so yeah, in the 36 games Matt Canada has coached, would you like to know how many games the Steelers have gotten 400 yards of offense? Take a gander. What do you think? 36. And I talk about how bad of an offensive coordinator he is. Maybe it's 10. Maybe it's lower. Maybe it's 5. 6 is only 1/6 of the games. And, whatever percentage that is. And, if it's 5 or it could be 4, it could be 3. And we're just going to continue going lower and lower until we hit the grand number of 0. In 36 games, They have hit 400 yards 0 times. Not once. Not a single time. So when I talk about how bad he is, because it's true, he couldn't do it with Ben. Granted, Ben was old. He couldn't do it with Mitch and Kenny last year. So far. He hasn't been able to do it with Kenny this year. It's not like Kenny doesn't have anything around him. He has a couple of solid running backs. Najee, Jalen Warren. We'll have to see what order those are in. He's got a nice tight end in Pat Freiermuth. He's got a couple nice receivers. Like, George Pickens is nice. Deontay Johnson, when healthy, is nice. Allen Robinson's okay, I guess. I just don't understand how in 36 games you can't hit 400 yards once. Like, how can you be that bad? How? I don't get it. I don't. So, would I take Randy over Matt? Yep. Would I take Todd over Matt? Yep. Would I take Bruce over Matt? Yep. Would I take Ken over Matt? Yeah, probably. I don't know what Ken's up to. I know Bruce is over in Tampa still. Todd, I would take you. Come out of radio, please. So, out of all these, the best offensive coordinator, or the coordinator who had the best results, would be Ken Whisenhunt. He had the best record, both in the regular season and the playoffs. I don't know exactly what the offensive production was, but I do know the defense was very good during that time. I do know that somewhere in the Bruce Arians to Todd Haley era is when the Killer Bees were. Todd Haley, definitely for Bell. I think Bruce Arians had just the very beginning of AB. But Todd Haley had the Killer Bees. Like, Ben, still pretty much in his prime. Because at that point, 2012, he hadn't even been in the league for 10 years. So you got Ben, still in his prime. You got Antonio Brown developing into one of the best receivers in the league, if not the best receiver in the league. And you have the up-and-coming Le'Veon Bell. You couldn't do it. So, it's like Todd had that and couldn't do it. So, but, like, it's not always Todd's fault either. Like, the defense was bad. The defense at that point was bad. Like, I'm not going to lie. They let the defense get old. They were loyal to the guys. Which, great, be loyal to them, but you got to know when it's time to let them go. Like Troy, they probably kept a year or two too long. Because by the end of Troy's career, like I saw it, he wasn't what he once was. Ike Taylor, at one point, was not what he once was. So, while Todd didn't exactly have a defense to back up what he was doing on offense, still, to not win a Super Bowl with the Killer Bees felt it was hard. So I would definitely, though, take Todd over Matt Canada every single day of the week. If Todd could still call plays, I would want him as a Steelers OC, at least for the rest of the season, and go find someone else after the season. So, but yeah, that's actually the Steelers' offensive coordinators. And Matt Canada may not be the worst. Oddly enough, he might not be the worst. Ray Sherman, after only having 1 year, could be the worst. Ray definitely had the lowest winning percentage and didn't even make the playoffs. Tom could possibly be named as the worst. 48.6%. Kevin could be the worst. Out of everything, God, it might be Matt Canada because the Matt Canada winning percentage is so skewed. It really is. The defense amazing. So I would say maybe Ray Sherman. Could Ray have been the worst? But, yeah. Those are all the Steelers' offensive coordinators. It's also weird that the offensive coordinator wasn't really a thing until 1983. It's weird. It was like the head coach just doing everything up until that point. Yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this video, do me a favor, leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, turn notifications on, and I will see everyone in the next video. Thanks for watching.